I'm sorry. I like the shadow that just makes it look like you're being a thick dick out in the middle of the review.
Ladies.
Or that someone with black hairs is giving you head through the whole thing.
Ladies.
Anyway, we went to go see. Anyway, we went to go see Get Out. So far, so far, pretty good year for horror movies.
Yeah?
Usually we don't say that in the first couple months of the year.
Yeah, usually it's, usually it's at least, like, Labor Day before.
At least, like, spring or summer, whenever it was we saw Green Room last year.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Fuck, that was in, like, May.
Yeah. Maybe they're switching it up this year. January we got Split, which I really fucking dug. Maybe like October and November we'll have like The Forest 2.
Because it made so much they had to put out a
Right?
sequel.
I don't even know that's the thing. There's a lot of people in there too, including a 3-year-old.
That was the shocking part, because this is definitely an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
And at a point, like, yeah, this guy got up to, I thought he was going to go use the bathroom, and then he just stood in the middle of, like,
Yeah, that
the
was
theater.
weird. Uh-huh.
And I was like, is he watching something on screen? And I realized he was looking back behind, like, up towards the, like, the actual, like, stadium seats. And then, no, like a 3 or 4 year old little girl comes, like, tromping down the stairs and follows him out. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, which admittedly, like, it's not like the kid was making noise. We didn't even know there was a kid in there until this was probably halfway into the movie when they walked out to use the restroom. And plus, in a movie that really makes you feel really uneasy throughout most of it, with some really batshit weird performances and things going on, it was a little haunting to just have some guy come up and just stand in front of us staring out at the audience.
After all the times that people have done that in the movie, it's like, we're going for like some 1950s shit where like they try to like bring audience participation into the movies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, now it's loose in the theater with you.
I just like, what the fuck, 50s movie? Black people? They're in the theater with you.
Well, it was the 1950s.
There may be one sitting right behind you.
God damn it, white people.
This movie was great, man. If this movie would have been made in the 70s, it would have been like a Larry Cohen movie. You'd have seen it like along with Bone or something like that.
Yeah, this feels like a movie that we should have already had, but I'm glad that we're getting it now. It's like, it had that sort of, I don't know, it had that sort of feel to it. Like you said, like, it honestly, it does feel like it's something that should have already happened. Like, it feels like if they were making like a nice, like, you know, blaxploitation horror film.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not even like to that extreme, but just the way that it really worked towards building suspense before anything happened, building a nice sense of tension, like just like the general like look and feel. Like, it was a very well shot film.
Yeah.
And just the sudden and just fucking over the top brutal like and now people are dying. Like, it had that sort of like, yeah, like that sort of like 70s kind of you know, horror feel to it, where it's just like it's like, and now we're to the point where just everyone fucking has to die.
Yeah. It
didn't fucking pull any punches once it started getting to it. Like, it, considering the you know, some of the actors in the film, like, didn't think things were gonna go the way they did.
Yeah, it's I am surprised that I best of my knowledge, haven't really seen anything quite like this, because it's taking something like, let's say, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and making a horror movie out of it. And it's really smart. It's really, really clever, because it really plays upon being in a situation like that where you're in an interracial relationship and you go to meet the parents. You know, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner did that one way. It did it more humorous. This one goes for more the horror movie angle. But even in the beginning of it, you know, it does a good job of setting up tension, and it really does play to a lot of different white elephants in that situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they get a lot of fun. They get a lot of fun out of the fact of the parents trying too hard. Even her acting a bit too much like a white knight at times. And the parents trying too hard, breaking in saying, like, by the way, I voted for Obama.
Like, I would have voted for him a third time.
I would have voted for him a third time.
I'm just saying.
And the party, with all the people at that party saying things like, you know, I know Tiger Woods. And,
It's like, being light-skinned was in vogue for hundreds of years, but now black is in fashion.
motherfucker, I just asked you what time it was, man. We just met.
Like 90% of the movie for the guy who's the lead in this, and I feel bad that I don't know his name because he did fucking great.
Yeah.
But 90% of this movie is him just looking at white people like, okay, fuck, I got nothing I can say to you right now.
I hope this would happen, like, if I was dating someone who was black and I met her parents, a bunch of people would come and they'd be like, you know who I like? That Larry Bird. Right? Me too.
A lot of people always said Magic Johnson had some moves, but, you know, from a technical aspect, Larry Bird all the way.
I look like I watch sports. I could talk to you about Jordan versus Bird on NES. You always pick Larry Bird. He was better at the 3-point shots. That's what my reaction would be. I don't know if this fictitious person I'm dating, I don't know if her family would like me very much.
Like, so what'd you think of the game last night? Like, I don't know. I was playing Arch Rivals.
I lost my Jordan versus Bird. Now I'm stuck with hoops. That game sucks. I'd be the guy at the party in this movie who's like, you know who's awesome? That Fred Williamson.
You can't go wrong with the Black Hammer.
Yes, damn right. Motherfucking Black Caesar. Another Larry Cohen movie. But no, like, you hit on it with the lead actor in the movie, and I forgot his name too. But every performance in this movie is perfect. Like, seriously, there is not a single person in this movie who doesn't nail what this movie is going for.
Oh, exactly. And just with the right level of, because there is that certain sort of like level of being self-aware of what kind of movie this is to certain aspects of it, like to a certain extent, like Bradley Whitford almost doesn't even try to hide that, like, oh no, there's some crazy shit going on here, buddy. There's some pretty fucked up things happening here, but let's just see what happens.
He has never been more terrifying. This is his most terrifying since, like, the lead Alpha Beta in Revenge of the Nerds 2. Like, fuck, might be the same character.
This is where he went in
This
life.
is, yeah, I believe it. There's no way he learned a lesson at the end of Nerds 2.
Oh, fuck
He just
no.
got punched in the face, that's all.
Seems like he gets more terrifying just the more corduroy you put on him.
Yeah, it was even terrifying when we saw younger Bradley Cooper in this movie. They just kind of browned up his hair a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, and even like Catherine Keener.
God.
It's fucking unnerving. And on the whole, like, as far as all of the actors in the film, she barely has, like, any dialogue, really. Like,
She has a couple of the biggest standout scenes in the movie, but where she is one-on-one with Chris, the lead character in the movie. Other than that, it's a lot of Allison Williams, a lot of Bradley Whitford, but those couple of scenes with Catherine Keener, like, I'm not going to be able to hear a fucking spoon clinging onto a teacup in a long goddamn time.
Does that come up a lot for you?
Yeah, I go out and get tea sometimes. I am white.
I always forget that. But no,
I grew up in a tea household.
I want to say something like, that explains so much, but I don't even know what that would explain.
I love it when people say that and they don't tell you what they mean by it.
It's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. This guy, his parents drank a lot of tea. Mystery solved, internet.
Oh,
Figured
that's why
it out.
he's got all those British movies at home. My James Bond movies? Yes.
You know, those British films.
I mean, I'll loan you some sometime. They're actually really good.
No, thank you.
I like me some good American spy movies. Like Austin Powers.
Exactly.
No, but the the second that people like their housemaids in this movie, from the guy out chopping wood to dude who's the guest, the black guy guest at their party, to the maid and everything, instantly there's, I mean, even if you've seen the trailer, you get a little idea where it's going, but it doesn't quite explain it fully.
It took a hard turn there in the third act.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that in the trailer, so you kind of know a little bit, like, for the setup. But so, even with that being said, God, as soon as he's talking to them in the movie, like, instantly something's very fucking Stepford Wivesy here.
Yeah, it had all these interesting elements from stuff like that, like like stuff from like Stepford Wives, or fuck me, like I was you have those moments when you just can't remember shit.
What, a movie like the something like the Stepford Wives?
No, there was some other fucking movie I was thinking of that this was really, really reminding me of.
The remake of Stepford Wives.
That's what it was. Thank you. How I couldn't think of that one. It'll come to me like tomorrow. I'll just shout it on Twitter for no, like, just out of context. And everything.
Yeah.
Fuck me. There was something. Like, I know there was something like the whole fucking time. I was like, oh, this reminds me of this. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know.
I can think of it. Like, I was watching the movie. I was like, hey, guess who's coming to dinner? A little Stepford Wives thrown in there, a little bone.
But yeah, it had like it had these interesting moments that they all felt familiar, but in a nice like combination like that I haven't really seen set up like that particular way before. So it never, like, even though there were parts that did feel familiar, where like you could, you know, like say like stuff like Stepford Wives, like, you really feel like a certain sort of familiarity to that. We're like, oh, this is, you know, it never felt like it was being like, it never felt like it was aping those movies. Like,
I never felt that about this movie.
It's like, and we'll take this page here, just stick that there, cross out this name, write in this name. Perfect, done.
That implies like just a huge level of like cynicism on a movie's part, and this wasn't that at all. This was a very smart, creepy, intense, clever horror film, and there wasn't ever any point where I thought something was being ripped off, or they were just being really, really cynical about it. You know, it's written and directed by Jordan Peele, who is a really smart and funny dude, and he himself, I believe, is biracial. I think his wife's white too.
Oh yeah, yeah, because he's married to Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So it really feels like he is kind of having fun with a lot of.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure that like that's probably how like some of this came about. Even it was like, you know, whether firsthand experience or just like like building off of experiences from like other people.
Yeah.
Like, like it definitely had that sort of feel like it came from somewhere and then just started like just pulling in like all this good material around it. But no, like it had a really distinct flow to it that it's hard to really sum up in a way because every point in it like just kind of hit what it was going for. You know,
it puts you
I'm like running out of words on this movie.
It puts you on edge as you're watching it because everyone has their own like little creepy vibe to this movie. It's like a movie like this could easily be set in like the same universe as something like Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil or something like that, where like it wouldn't have been surprising if there was somebody walking around the party in this with just like flies dangling on little strings that they're being weird about, you know. Remember that?
It would be the weird brother.
Yeah, that fucking dude.
The brother who, for whatever reason, was a cross between, like, the main, like, guy outside in, like, the first Purge and, like, the kid from fucking Funny Games.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
It's oddly intense and weird.
There are just haunting moments in this movie because there is some good humor in it, but it never goes like spoof. It never goes like meta or anything like that. Like this is a horror film. Like it is. It does have funny moments in it, but this is also a creepy movie. And man, when people like the maid and dude outside at the party and the dude chopping wood, whenever they just say like a single sentence or something, there's just something so
it's unnerving in that way where you're like I know this is wrong, and you can tell from Guy's face he fucking knows this is wrong, but god damn it, he can't leave. And then at a point he can't leave.
And at that point, it's like after, like, you know, he's with the maid in the room who is supposed to be talking with this creepy smile on her face and everything's supposed to be happy and jolly. And you can see it like, wow, there is still some semblance of whatever person this used to be in there. Because she starts, like, crying as she's, like, happy talking to him, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, and it's unnerving because you don't know, like, up until, like, fuck me, like, up until, like, 10 minutes before the end of the movie, you really don't really, like, they definitely touch on the, like, oh, there's some sort of, like, hypnotism crap going on.
Yeah.
But they don't really touch on what the hell actually is going on, so it makes it so weird, like she's, like the maid, like, using, like, weird terms, like, it's like, oh, I accidentally unplugged your cellular telephone. It's like, who the fuck calls it that?
Yeah, or when he's like, sorry, I didn't want to rat on you or snitch. She's like, oh, you mean tattletale? You know, you're right. When it is revealed what actually is going on, what they are doing, it did get me a little bit. Like, you go to a movie like this and you know it involves brainwashing somehow. But when it actually says what it is, what they're doing, I hadn't thought about that in my head. Like,
that came out of left fucking field for me. But I liked that because
I did too.
At no point did it feel like it was telegraphed that that's where it was going. Like, even like the lead up whenever he's like strapped into that chair watching like the fucking 1960s television.
That was Zenith he was watching. Yeah.
The size of a fucking dresser.
Any minute now, dude's gonna come out and tell him about the Dharma Initiative.
Fuck me, I was waiting for any minute now he was gonna crawl inside the TV like a fucking video drum.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking set. But even then, like they start setting up the idea that, like, oh, there's some sort of procedure they're going to be doing. But I still didn't fucking think that's where they were going. So I liked that they played that one very close to the chest, and as soon as they kind of let on, it's like, now shit's starting to make sense.
And it's a blast. When it gets violent, man. It does. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't get, like, overly gratuitous by any means, but, like, it doesn't turn into, like, a fucking Serbian film or some shit, but
it stays away from, like, it stays away from feeling like a modern horror film in a way. And what I mean by that is, like a lot of, like whether it's being toned down and it's, like, cutaway kills, like the fucking Bye Bye Man, or just even stuff like oh no, I'm gonna, like, kill this guy, I'm gonna stab him, and then you just see, like, gets close,
yeah, or like no blood or anything like that, or stupid ass fucking jump scares or something, or a thing like that, or fake out dream sequence, which we see in nearly every horror movie that comes out. In fact, this movie actually really plays with that trope a little bit, the fake out dream sequence.
Because the real shit that's happening is like, it's like, that must have been a dream, because there's no way that shit was going down.
Oh, fuck, that actually happened. She really fucking tried hypnotizing my ass.
But I liked the kills, like, they were, and this is what I was saying, like it definitely had that kind of, like, 70s style for me. It was like it just went for it. It's like, that's the death you got, like, like, and if it was a big splashy thing, like, that's what happened, and they didn't shy away from showing it, but they weren't gratuitous with it.
It's also confined to the last act in the movie too, because the movie is really like the setup of the structure of, say, a movie off the top of my head, like Halloween or something, like a setup like that, where you have you're with this story and these characters for 2 acts, and then it really does. Yeah,
it lets everything simmer for a long time, and then just immediately just turns it up.
Yeah.
And it has that kind of, like, slow build, because, like, even, like, and it's an odd pairing, but in my head, like, I just kept thinking, like this really would make, like, a nice, like double feature with some of the other, like, sort of, I don't know really what you would call them, like, throwback horror films we had the past couple of years, like stuff like some of Ty West's movies, like the
House of House of the Devil. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that structure wise, like, this fits very much with that. Like, it's got that same sort of just creeping build where it always keeps you feeling uneasy, but it never really gives you, like, that next step. Like, it's not like a lot of movies now, that even ones that do a fair job, like, building tension, they have, like, those, like, tension releases every now and then. Like, it's like, oh man, it seems kind of tense, and then, like, oh shit, it's just a cat in a cabinet.
Yeah.
It's like, thank God we got that out of the way. Cut to next day.
Or they have to have some that really studio note feeling thing, where they have to have some burst of violence in the first act or first part of the movie. You know how you'd usually see in a movie,
we need an action beat every 10 pages so people stay awake.
Yeah, that really studio notey thing that you'll see, like, if this movie were to have opened with, like, him, running through the house with a shotgun, and then it cuts to black, and then it says 2 days earlier, like, bullshit like that.
Starts with him, like just bedraggled coming out of the house, like, just covered in fucking blood. It's like, oh fuck, what happened here? Yeah. Earlier that morning. It's like, babe, let's go to the countryside.
And I've seen that done before, where I've been fine with it, because maybe the movie just kind of makes up for it, or maybe it just kind of works, like John Wick. But for every John Wick, there's 1,000 movies that don't do that well.
Yeah, and the opening with, like, a big splashy thing, like that can, like, The Strangers. I feel like did that very well, like, kind of give me, like, that sort of, like, preview of, like like, here's the fucked up shit that's about to happen, or has happened. Let's take it back and get to that point.
And The Strangers did that while still having a bunch of tension in the first 2 acts of the movie. John Wick, it seemed perfectly fine, because John Wick's not the kind of movie that held all of its kills for the last act of the film.
Didn't even wait to the end of the first act.
Yeah.
Fuck, we need an action beat every 5 pages. We need an action beat every 5 lines.
That works for that movie. The movie I just saw earlier tonight did it. Collide did that. It opened with, like, I don't know, a car accident on the Autobahn. Okay, let's find out how Nicholas Hoult got in this mess. I don't care.
Freeze frame. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah, it did that.
Fuck you.
I'm seriously, like, maybe not even like freeze frame, but narration did come in, and it's the only goddamn part in the movie he fucking narrated. Narration comes in, he's like, you do some crazy things for love, or something like that. I'm like,
oh. It's starting to feel like there's a reason I've never heard of this movie.
It does have a good techno soundtrack, I'll give it that. If you were to see Collide, you'd come away with it sort of like me, where you'd be like, well, I don't hate it because I've seen Getaway. I've seen how this can be worse.
Like, it's not terrible, but listening to KMFDM for 90 minutes, that was a bit much.
I highly recommend this fucking movie, man.
Oh God,
like, seriously.
Yeah, fuck me, like, and I don't know, like, has Peele done any other movies, or was, like, is this like his first, like, written and directed one that he's done?
He co-wrote Keanu. I don't think he directed it. I might be wrong about that, but I mean, he at least co-wrote it. Serving as both writer and director. I think so. I think it is.
Fuck me, like, if this is what he's able to turn out, like, like, I am completely on board with, you know what, like, do comedy shit, do Key and Peele, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if you want to do this every now and again,
then
absolutely go for it.
It's like, I'm down to see whatever you do next, man, because I thought their show was funny. I thought Keanu was a very funny movie.
Oh, it was fucking great.
Yeah, Keanu's fucking hilarious. And this movie, like, wow, the guy can do horror too.
But yeah, and yeah, that's kind of like, honestly, like Keanu kind of felt like because kind of going by that same philosophy, like pulling in a lot of interesting stuff from different, like, action films, action genres, to do that. You know, this with horror, like, fuck, if he wants to make a fucking, like, sci-fi movie in goddamn space,
yeah,
next, go for it. If he just wants to keep fucking playing around with genres, like clearly he's got a good handle on how to structure something. Because, like I said, like, this is, I mean, I'm sure that, like, with it being, like, a suspense thriller horror film, like, I doubt that it's really going to get much, like, consideration from the Academy come next year. But it does a lot of things really fucking well, and I mean, it's just a shame because, like, I feel like a lot of times, like, once you start attaching, like, the label of horror film to something, immediately it's, like, fucking untouchable, you know, for, like, most awards, and, like, but yeah, I shit, like, the writing in this was fucking, it was funny when it wanted to be, and it was serious when it needed to be.
And it can switch at the drop of a hat, too, and it never feels like it's any kind of really, like, awkward, bad tonal shift or anything like that.
Yeah, or, like, people just, like at inappropriate times just suddenly, like, busting out jokes or something.
Yeah.
Like that in the hands of someone who wasn't taking as much care in this as he was, clearly, that could have got real fucking sloppy.
Yeah, it could have been an Eli Roth movie.
Yeah. Yeah, or it could have felt like, you know, some, like, fucking Ben Stiller, like, Meet the Fockers type bullshit. Well, but also, like, De Niro is
Travis Bickle.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Max Cady.
It's like, oh, I wanted you to come meet my father. And here we are now in Cape Fear for the next little bit. Like, do this.
Still better than Little Fockers.
So yeah, like, it felt like this could have easily gone off the rails at any point, but it didn't. Like they had a firm fucking handle on it.
If anything, they even call attention to that a little bit in the movie, like in the sense of like the lead character is really worried about this creepy shit that's going on, and he's telling Williams about it, and she's just kind of like making jokes or something, and he goes like, "Is he really fucking joking right now? Like, no, something's wrong here."
Yeah, it's like I know this is fucked up. Like, don't tell me it's not.
Like, you could feel his frustration so hard in that scene.
It's like no one will goddamn believe me.
No, like so between this and Split, there's some damn good horror stuff out there to go see. So, and between the two recent horror movies that have somewhat to do with medical science, it's a far better movie than Cure for Wellness, I'll tell you that for damn sure.
Because yeah, I was gonna say like I think right now in there, like half the movies in the theater right now are horror films up there.
Yeah, Split, it's like Split, Cure for Wellness, Get Out.
Rings is still up on the marquee.
Jesus, I forgot about that. We said it when we reviewed that movie.
Yep.
We're gonna forget that shit exists.
The only reason I remembered is because the fucking poster's still out there on the light up. It's the only reason I remembered it. Whenever I was walking up, I walked past, I'm like, all right, Rings.
So like horror movies and also like the Oscar movies are playing in there right now.
It's like all of those, and then the next theater is like Lion.
Yeah. But like, God, I mean, Rings sucked. They can't all be good, but the fact that we've got one, let alone more than one.
Yeah, I think so far horror films this year, we're doing about 50-50, which for February is fantastic.
That's what I mean. Like, the fact that we got one good horror movie and two, like, that's fantastic.
I'll take it. I'll fucking take it.
Yeah. I gotta come back to the theater tomorrow. Gotta see Rock Dog. I don't know if it'll be any good.
I saw a poster for that the other day, and I was walking past it, and I thought to myself, wait, is that a fucking Hong Kong Phooey? I'm like, oh no, this is Rock Dog. It's something totally different.
Hell yeah, Rock Dog. I'm gonna see some Rock Dog tomorrow.
Were they not, like, was there a legal issue with using, like, Dog of Ages or something like that?
Rock Dog's purpose. He dies and comes back as a different musical genre every time.
Fantastic.
Man. And next week, though, is, Logan, and, I can't remember what else, but
I know Ghost in the Shell's coming up. It might be next week.
The same weekend as Logan? That's wow, I'll be duking that out.
Well, I can already tell you which one is gonna tank the other one.
Yeah. God, I know there's some, yeah. Well, at the least, Logan will be next week.
Fucking looking forward to that shit.
Oh, I fucking can't wait to see that. I'm gonna go home and crash so I can wake up early and see Rock Dog. We'll wear this shirt, too.
So I just gotta wake up and go to work. Like, you gotta actually, like, I feel bad for you.
What, seeing Rock Dog? Maybe it'll be good. See it.